Okay, so this is basically a guide for people that haven't yet started with growing perennials. So basically, an annual is a crop that, like a potato plant, right? Like it's a crop that you plant this year and end this year, or maybe even beginning of this year, you harvest it, right? It's in the ground for less than 12 months, basically. That's an annual crop. Perennial crop, on the other hand, like this apple tree, is a crop that stays in the ground or in a bucket for multiples of years, right? For multiples of seasons to come. So with this potato plant right here, let's make my cam even bigger. That's a bit too big though. Yeah. So with this potato plant right here, you could grab a random bucket and you could plant a potato in it. And really, the bucket, you could use the bucket again for like for a pepper or for tomato, for anything else next year. But if you're talking about a little tree or a little bush, right? Fruit mainly, right? Maybe asparagus, but I don't think you're into asparagus yet. Then we need to be careful about when, like, in what we plant it, in what like bucket we plant it in, and the size of the bucket, how we're gonna level up the bucket, right? How we're gonna make the bucket bigger, where we eventually maybe even want to plant it in the ground somewhere. Because with fruit bushes, it's a lot more simpler, as in the space that's required is less. But if you're going with a full-on tree, you need to be really careful about like how you're gonna level up your buckets, right? How you're gonna level up your pots and containers to make them bigger. How you eventually maybe even going to plant them in ground, or you might want a dwarf variety, right? So instead of like an actual apple tree, you might want to have a dwarf apple tree. These are things you need to think about with perennials, because again, annuals, they just stay in the ground for one season, but these perennials, they stay with you for years and years to come. So on one hand, this is a better investment. $10 or like $10 on perennial plants is going to serve you with 10 years. $10 on perennial plants is going to serve you only 1 year. In one hand, it's a better investment in the long term. On the other hand, it is a lot more planning. All right. But let's go over my top three picks. Basically, the only three plants that I actually have that are perennials, and you can actually start getting fruits in this year or next year. Yeah, that's how it works. All right. So, beginningly, you can basically see them already, but begin. The most easy one is strawberries. Why? Well, strawberries aren't as big. So you could plant four strawberry plants in like a little, pretty much normal sized container. Not for your average, not an average container for your flowers or anything, but like in a pretty average container for like vegetable garden. You could plant like four or so. Now this depends, of course, on what you call an average container and stuff, but you like they can be planted fairly close together, and one plant or like one small bush only really survives a few years, right? So a strawberry plant is going to go in peak production, right, in optimal production after 3 years, and then slowly slow down. And you might kind of want to, cut these plants out and like plant new seeds, and eventually just kind of there are a very long annual, like there are perennials, of course, but they don't go with you very many years, right? That's not the same for all of these other bushes. So this is probably the easiest one. If you're just starting out, go with this one. It doesn't require any pruning basically. If you want to keep them a lot longer, if you want to keep them longer than a few years, you might be able to actually prune them a little bit, but don't require much maintenance. The only thing is that you need to kind of be careful about birds and slugs and all of that stuff. But you kind of already knew that, right? You need to be on top of your fruit. A handy tip, though, by the way, is you can what's it called? You can paint a rock red, right? Like you can paint a rock red, and then with this little like green sleeve. if you have birds coming and picking your fruit, right? So if you see that birds are coming and picking your fruit, what you might want to do is before the fruit even comes, maybe, right? If this happens some years before, or just when you notice it, right? You can just grab a rock or a few rocks and you can paint them like a river rock, right? Not just like some random rock, but like a river rock. You can paint them red with a few spickles, maybe, and a little green sleeve. And this is going to resemble a red strawberry, and the bird is going to want to pick in it, but it's hard as rock, right? And then eventually the bird is going to be like, okay, these red things aren't edible, let's move on. And now the strawberries are for you, all right? My next pick is going to be these raspberries. Why raspberries? Because they are a fruit with loads of cool varieties. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit. With loads of cool varieties. And they're relatively easy. Like, they're pretty forgiving for not pruning, right? So if you have a bush and you don't prune it, yes, you're going to have a lot, like 10 times or like 2 times less harvest than if you would prune it like in the correct way. But even though you don't prune it correctly, you're still gonna get some harvests, right? So it's not like you need to be on top for the pruning all of the time. You can kind of get into pruning as the plant matures, basically. Um, and yeah, basically pruning is when you're like the barber of your plant, right? You're gonna cut pieces out of your plant, and it's scary to kind of figure out how it works, but you can get away with not pruning for a few years probably, and still get like a few harvests. Um, I think pretty decent harvests even. Yeah, and they're pretty easy as well, and probably they're gonna give a lot as well. I haven't harvested any yet, but this year I'm gonna harvest a lot. You better wait and see, but I'm gonna harvest a lot of these and a lot of these, and I don't know exactly, but I'll think a lot of these as well. Look out for that as well. And then the third one is the blueberry. This is probably, to be honest, I don't know exactly how difficult these two are exactly, but I think either this one or that one is the most difficult of the bunch. I know which one needs the most amount of pruning or anything, but what I do know is that these guys are also pretty easy. At least I have heard. Right? I haven't had any harvest yet, but you better wait and see. And bro, I will be eating every morning from that shit. I'm not gonna lie about that. But yeah, that's my third pick as well. So these three, I think, the first few like 2 3 years you're gonna get enough while only planting these three and also kind of picking and matching varieties and stuff like that. Because another good thing, another good tip is that if you have like one raspberry plant and one, how do we call it again, blueberry plant and one strawberry plant, they're not going to do that good. If you have two raspberry plants and like four strawberry plants, then that's when we're actually gonna get talking. So right now I have two raspberry plants, two blueberry plants. I think around about 8 of these, and I'm gonna get a lot more soon. Lots of more soon. Um, I'm talking like tens more soon, like pretty much 20, 10-ish more soon, right? But you better wait and see again. And yeah, let's just go to weird varieties, bro. So a couple. Oh, firstly, these are strawberries, by the way. I haven't. I have already mentioned all the tips I think about strawberries as well. Maybe you could use straw to um, protect your strawberries from rotting on the ground. You can use a bucket for the strawberries so that slugs, right? These nasty little slugs or snails cannot get by your strawberries and just munching them like over here happened. Um, this isn't the slug probably like this one, but if it's like closer to the ground like over here, maybe it can get eaten pretty easily. You can prevent this by using buckets. You can plant this out in a strawberry tower. You can prevent this by using netting or mint as well, like herbs and stuff. Also, kind of get rid of the slugs. Next one. Nope, like that. Yeah, exactly. These are okay. I've mentioned all the tips already. So over here, I have some cool varieties basically. So this one, I already have the yellow raspberry, but the difference is basically that the yellow raspberry is a lot more sweet and of course a lot more premium, right? You probably cannot go to the store and just buy some yellow raspberries or even some. These are probably going to be hella rare, but either way, you can probably not even buy these in the store. Um, and if you can, they're probably going to cost a lot more than regular raspberries. So basically, you have a premium crop right here, a crop that all of your friends and um, family and stuff cannot buy really, get access of basically. So you're the only one that can really like give them that. And it tastes a lot better than regular raspberry. So what is that? So these already taste a lot better than your regular store bought raspberries. But these guys taste a lot sweeter. All right, these guys taste a lot sweeter than your red raspberries. And then if you go to the other side, to the black raspberries, these guys have a lot more like taste and toughness to them, basically. So basically, these guys are a lot more tasty, like not a lot more sweet, and these guys have a lot more of a strong taste, but like they taste a lot like very strong, like raspberries, basically. So yeah, pick one red plant, and maybe one yellow plant, or maybe one black plant, or even both. I may even get both by the end of this year. And then you have blueberries, bro. So like you see. Oh no, like you see here, I've got I've got the yellow plant. Mine is called you can read it right, like Rubus. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Idios Golden Bliss. All right. So I got the Golden Bliss variety. And then the red, like, I don't have these yet. If I have them, I will show you, but I don't have them yet. Then we go to blueberries. So this is the one I have as well. It's a quote unquote flamingo, like you can read it right, like the flamingo um, blueberry, and it's like look at that change. This is a blue crop one, like that's the one I'm also having, right? That's a blue crop blueberry, and it's hella blue, right? And over here we have a flamingo. So a flamingo, I'll put that here. A flamingo. No, I'll put it over here, bro. Don't. I'm not gonna spoil that. So a flamingo variety, basically, it's like a little lighter blue as well, and it has these soft pink flowery ends. All right. I'm very excited to eat them as well because they're probably going to taste a bit different. But yeah, that's pretty. Oh no, that's pretty cool. And over here, I don't have these, but these are pink, like completely pink blueberries. I mean, what's cooler than that, bro? You got your own like pink blueberries. What's cooler than that, really? But yeah, these are my plants. These are my uh yeah bushes basically. So this is my my red raspberry plant. This is my yellow raspberry plant. This is my blue crop blueberry plant, and this is my flamingo blueberry plant. Right. This is my golden bliss blue no golden bliss raspberry plant. Yeah. So you can see that I made a mistake over here. Basically, what I did is even though there were no flowers and no fruits, I fertilized it with a fruiting fertilizer. So basically, if a soft fruit plant goes into flower and goes and starts to own like the first fruits, you could fertilize them with this sort of fertilizer, which allows them to just pump out more fruits basically and focus more on fruit production. But I did this, I fertilized the plant, even though it had no flowers and no fruit. And I think that was a mistake that I made. So if your plant doesn't have any flowers or any fruit whatsoever, I wouldn't fertilize it with a fruiting fertilizer, basically. Because I think that's just going to take away a bunch of growth. Because see, it's not that big compared to this one, right? And this is my yellow, right? It has a few less stems, but the stems itself, like the individual stems, are bigger than um, over here as well. I know it's not too much bigger the individual stems, but they are longer. But it is a lot less bushy than over here, of course. And yeah, that's basically it. So to sum it up, don't be careless. Think about it all. Really think about the future of the plant, how you're gonna kind of keep it alive along the years. These are my main tips. Like these are my main fruits I would recommend. These are the two main raspberry varieties that are not like the main raspberry variety I would recommend for you buy. To be honest, eventually buy both of these. To be honest, like just buy like these, both of them, right? I think that's gonna serve you really well. And these are the two blueberry varieties I would recommend. And these are my plants. All right. So yeah, let's put this on full screen here. Yeah, mate. So basically, that's the video for today. I hope you got something out of it, and I think that you know pretty good. Wait, you're now equipped with the knowledge to go and plant your first. That was completely wrong. All right, plant your first fruits and perennials, and yeah, plants that just are going to give you even more joy. Basically, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.